Hello, everybody. Megazard X here, back at it again to give you another very exciting episode on Zard's Thoughts. Now, we know recently Nintendo has actually made a big acquisition, not necessarily as big as like ones that Microsoft has made when acquiring, Activision Blizzard or Bethesda. Nothing nearly that big, though. But Nintendo knows how to make a few moves themselves, though. However, maybe not with the huge bad consequence and all the negative vibes and energy that Xbox has been recently going through, though. But yes, I am referring to the acquisition of Shiver Entertainment. And Nintendo managed to throw up here a little statement here, and I'll go through and read through all the details, kind of listing out everything that's involved within this acquisition. So, at least in terms of the purpose of this acquisition, Shiver is a video game development company that develops software for multiple platforms, including Nintendo Switch. Since its establishment in 2012, Shiver has partnered with publishers and developers through commissions for large scale title developments, and recently has worked on porting and developing software titles such as Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1. Now, Nintendo will acquire 100% of the outstanding shares of Shiver and make it a wholly owned subsidiary. By welcoming Shiver's experience and accomplished development team, Nintendo aims to secure high level resources for porting and developing software titles. Going forward, even after it becomes part of the Nintendo group, Shiver's focus will remain the same, continuing to commission the port and development software for multiple platforms, including Nintendo Switch. So that's basically all the meat and potatoes that's actually kind of showcased off within this one page of the document, though. So basically, Shiver Entertainment, they've been known for porting certain titles to the Nintendo Switch, such as Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1 definitely doesn't look like the hottest thing off the block. So when you kind of look at a title like that, you would think, well, why in the world would Nintendo try to acquire them? I don't necessarily know about the performance, at least for Hogwarts Legacy. I know that's a great and phenomenal game if you pick it up on something like the PS5, though. It was definitely one of my honorable mentions of that year whenever it released, though. But it's just kind of interesting how those are like some of their more recent games that they have managed to port over to the Nintendo Switch. But I guess Nintendo saw something, at least within this one gaming studio, in terms of their port drives, where it's like, hey, we can work with them, make them a little bit better, though. So it is kind of interesting to kind of go through some of their thought processes on that, though, because literally if you were trying to go back in time and say, well, what was the last thing that Nintendo has managed to acquire? If you remember back a couple of years ago in July of 2022 or so, Nintendo announced the acquisition of the Japanese animation studio Dynamo Pictures. So we know that, at least with that, they were going to basically play as like a support studio in terms of animation, because we know Nintendo is expanding just beyond the video game industry. Like, what? There's the Super Mario Bros. Movie. There's also the sequel that's in the works. And then we know that there's a Legend of Zelda movie in the works as well, though. So, they could actually help with that, or maybe with certain cutscenes within, certain gaming studios. So they're definitely running support. But that was the last acquisition that we have gotten recently with Nintendo. So Nintendo's not necessarily in a buying wars in comparison to like how Sony or especially Xbox has been recently with some big marquee titles like there's an Activision Blizzard and stuff like that. So Nintendo's not necessarily like that. They'd rather take their in-house studios and stuff and just raise the level up in terms of, the people that are working underneath them, and just, making them better and more proficient in terms of all the works they're doing now. And when the timing is right, they will go out and buy certain studios. Like, also, like, remember when they bought Next Level Games? For the longest time, they weren't owned underneath Nintendo, but it just so happened to work out that they managed to buy them, though. So if you look at the big overall picture in terms of, why Nintendo might be trying to go through and buy this studio, is I'm thinking that we're playing the long game with this company. Because yes, they're going to help with the portings of certain third-party games to the Nintendo Switch. Gosh by golly, whenever the Nintendo Switch 2 happens to come out on the market, they're going to use this studio for that as well, though. Because, certain third-party games, yes, they want to be more involved and have a reason for people to actually buy those third-party games on the Switch. Because for the most part, most people's de facto system maybe to get most high-end third-party games might be the PS5 or no. But because of that hybrid nature and stuff, and that continues on within the Nintendo Switch 2, there's going to be reasons why Nintendo wants to make sure they get as many third-party games on this platform as humanly possible, though. So I definitely think that this is going to be a studio that's going to definitely help them within the rest of this generation, and especially moving on into the next generation. Now, obviously, they did mention to say in this statement that it wasn't just going to be the important games on Nintendo Switch, but other platforms as well. But who's to say that Nintendo, after X amount of years has gone by from the acquisition, that they say, hey, now that we finished up all the contracts and stuff, because they might be obligated to help finish out some other ports to the PS4, PS5, or the Xbox Series of consoles or whatever, though. Then they might switch them over to fully Nintendo. But at least for the time being, they're just still going to help out everybody, though. But yeah, I think this is definitely a really smart move. Maybe the chips and stuff that's happened to all align for them to be able to actually go through and acquire this system, though. But yeah, Nintendo's definitely playing the long game, at least with this one acquisition, though. But y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all do you think about this acquisition? Do you think it's smart? Do you see much promise of it, though, or is it more like a kind of wait and see in terms of what Nintendo's going to be able to actually get out of this one studio they managed to acquire, though? But that's going to basically do it in terms of this video, though. So if you really like this, make sure you're going to hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. So remember, y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.